13 years ago, Chelsea's Twitter account put out this tweet saying that two idiots have stopped play by running onto the pitch. I would not be surprised to find out that the person that put out that tweet was either Doctor Strange or That's So Raven, because they perfectly predicted the Sassy and Badiashile. Now guys, I am not the devil, I promise. But if I was, I would have the easiest job on earth. If I wanted to condemn somebody after a life of sin, I would simply turn them into a goalkeeper for all eternity. And the center backs in front of them are the uncoachables from Arsenal's lockdown era. Today, we're gonna talk about center back partnerships that would make Liam Delap look like 2010 David Villa. Putting these guys together is like mixing water and oil. Brandy and Mr. Whiskers. It's insane to grasp that the guys that I'm gonna list today all played for big teams, because these guys are so cheeks that even Orlando Pirates would not play these guys, and they'll take anybody. Some of these guys played a lot of games together. Some of them only played like a few, maybe even one game together. And the fact that they were so bad that they can still make the cut of this video shows that putting them together was a worse idea than having an NFT. So let's talk about the most diabolical center back partnerships in all of sports entertainment. Bruh, it is your boy, the Streets Champ, Toby World, party time, excellence. And let's get into the video.
We coming now.
The greatest lie the devil ever told is that the brothers of destruction are The Undertaker and Kane. No, it is actually DeSassy and Benoit. I'll never forget that us Chelsea fans were promised the best center-back partnership fresh out of France. There was so much hype. I have never seen this much hype for in Paris since Kanye and Jay-Z. But this is proof that us Chelsea fans traded our brain cells for 2 Champions Leagues. Because if we had just looked a little deeper, we would have seen that these guys were bad at Monaco too. This was like an episode of Scooby-Doo. We knew who the villains were from the start. We just couldn't see it with our own 2 eyes. I mean, look at these two. Does this look like a deadly duo? No, it looks like those posters you see on a bus for autism awareness. So these two terrorists, I mean, they played together primarily throughout the 2023-24 season. Now, I do not believe in coincidences, but I do find it alarming that the season that these two most feature together happens to also be the season in which Chelsea conceded more goals than they ever have in a single Premier League season. 63 goals conceded. This was statistically our worst defense. I hated seeing these two together. I felt like a mother watching her daughter hanging out with Chief Keef.
Nah.
Oh, you know a player's dead to you when your team announces that they're back from injury and you don't even feel happy. Chelsea like to post all the time, oh, Benoit's back, Benoit's back. Brother, I'd rather have Chris Benoit back than Benoit Badiashile. Benoit Bad Baby. Hell, you know what? I'm just gonna start calling him Benoit Baddies Hub, because every time we play with him on the pitch, we get fucked. Look at this amazing defending right here from the 2 clown princes of crime against Servette, a team in the Conference League. We lost this game. But if you thought all of that was bad, then let's talk about the match that really got these two into the Hall of Pain. Chelsea versus Arsenal. Now, I love clowning Arsenal in Europe because they have no cups, like Emma Watson. But I gotta be honest, I cannot remember the last time that we beat them in a match. This ain't a rivalry anymore. They just kick our ass. I've seen Chelsea lose to Arsenal so much, I'm just numb to it at this point. I feel like Joker in the beginning of his own movie. But there is still one single result that always haunts me. Arsenal 5, Chelsea 0. Do you want to guess who Chelsea's center backs were that day? DeSassy and Benoit allowed Kai Havertz, you know, Kai Havertz, the guy that literally left us for our rivals. They allowed him to score a brace against us. Kai Havertz released his big German load while all of us Chelsea fans sat there with our mouths wide open. And it's all because of these two. You know what? There's actually 2 more pages left of this rant, but I'm done. I'm moving on.
Toby, we have to stay on
I said
this.
we're moving on! From one bad French partnership to another, we would I'm sorry, I can't do this. No, I literally just remembered that Arsenal beat us 5-0. No, you know what? Let's talk about Arsenal center backs. You see, nowadays Arsenal's defense is tighter than a nun's coochie. But ladies and gentlemen, you see, I was there during the lockdown, and I kind of want to take a trip back. Now, the title of this video is Worst Center Back Partnerships. But with Arsenal, where do I even start? How about let's start with David Luiz and Rob Holding. Now, David Luiz is a Chelsea legend, so I love the guy. And he wasn't bad for Arsenal, but when he was bad, he was really bad. Who remembers lockdown David Luiz? It was during that era where all the players had Black Lives Matter on the back of their kits. Black Lives Matter. Yeah, except for these two. Anyways, I'll never forget when Arsenal were facing Manchester City. And David Luiz thought to himself, you know what? Black lives do matter. You know what? Raheem Sterling, have this goal for free. And in that exact same match, he also gave away a penalty and got a red card. Imagine having this guy in your FPL that day. Bro, my head would be on Pluto. And that was just the case for Luiz at Arsenal. He just kept getting red, whole lot of red. I had no clue that this guy was such a huge Cardi fan. And then there's Roberto Holdini. You know, people always say that only black defenders have the bozo gene. Well, Rob Holding puts that theory to bed. Here's the clip of him trying to keep the ball out of the net with his hands. Is this dude Rob Holding or Rob Green? Now, we all thought that Rob Holding was bad when he had Trevor Phillips from GTA 5's hairline. But when he came back from Turkey looking like the English Lex Luthor, he somehow got worse. But the mediocrity does not stop there, because Arsenal fans also had to deal with Socrates Papa John's and Colonel Mustafi. Mustafi having a World Cup winner's medal is like somebody walking into my living room and casually seeing an Oscar on my coffee table. Now, I don't particularly remember Socrates being bad, but ladies and gentlemen, I need to tell you a fact of life. The company that you keep is going to have a huge effect on who you eventually become. If you hang out with a bunch of bums, you're gonna become a bum. If you hang out with a bunch of thugs, you're gonna become a thug. Your environment will always have a huge say on what your destiny eventually becomes. And unfortunately for Socrates, he was not an elite defender the way that somebody like John Terry or Van Dijk was. These guys were so elite that even if they had someone average next to them, they could make them better. Like I said, product of environment. And unfortunately for Socrates, his partner in crime was 2016 Sami Zayn. I don't even gotta say anything. Look at this clip of Mustafi marking the referee. Dude, is he trying to stop the referee from giving Luiz another red card? And Mustafi used to annoy me because every time he made a mistake, he would get mad at somebody else. Let's not even talk about his 50 shades of grey defending. He was the most submissive center-back of all time. Remember when Arsenal were facing City in the League Cup final? Aguero gently nudged the centre-back and he started floating away like an NPC in GTA 5 and Aguero went on to score. And look at this dude once again doing the thing that he always does, which is complain or get mad at somebody else. Do I want Arsenal to win the league? No! I would rather contract every disease that Sexy Red has. But I have to be true. If you're an Arsenal fan and you survived this, you might deserve a Premier League.
The following message was brought to you by
World Gang Entertainment.
World Gang. Hit that sub button fast, quick. If you don't, you're gonna get your ass kicked. Cause the journey's looking magic. Subscribe, like it up, hype it up, hat trick. We want 100K, no pain. World Gang's on fire, no cane. I think your girl rang. You tell me, Toby, I wanna join World Gang. Yeah, everybody want to join World Gang in 2026 because they know that we're going to finish the story. Make sure you subscribe or else I'm going to slap your mama right on the chin.
Yo, Toby! My mom died, bro.
Wait, how did she die?
She blew up.
Well, RIP your mama, but we blowing up in 2026 too. Back to the video.
That is right, guys. Hit that sub button fast, quick. And if you don't, well, I mean, unfortunately, you are going to get your ass kicked. We're on the road to 100,000 subscribers, and if you are subscribing for the first time today, go down and comment down that you're joining the journey so that me and all the day one ooses can welcome you accordingly. Anyways, next center-back partnership. The same way Arsenal's lockdown era was full of mediocrity in the back, you can say the same thing for Koeman's Barcelona. Now, before I slander Umtiti, I have to acknowledge the fact that there was indeed a point where he was arguably one of the best center-backs on earth. Him and Varane during the 2018 World Cup were so solid together that they could probably defend Bill Cosby in court. But unfortunately, Umtiti had a worse knee than D Rose. And he knew beforehand that if he gave 100% at that World Cup, then his knee would never ever be the same. He essentially sacrificed his entire career for that one World Cup. Did he make the right choice? I'll let y'all decide in the comments. But yep, after he won that World Cup, the fall off was inevitable. No J. Cole. I knew it was over from Titi when I saw this man get outpaced during a game against Granada. The man that outpaced him was a 60-year-old Roberto Soldado. This man didn't even have pace during his prime, and now he's out here outpacing Umtiti. This was just so sad to see. So what was Barcelona's most diabolical center-back partnership? I mean, honestly, pick your poison. If it's not Umtiti and Langley, who was incredibly inconsistent, then it's probably Langley and Piqué, who was incredibly washed at the time. And if it wasn't any of those center-back partnerships, then it was any of these guys along with Mingueza. Running through this defense was like running through an open field. It was so easy. These guys made baby Araujo look like the second coming of Maldini.
It's like a family in here, just a little disabled.
Now, I know this was only for one game, but this game has to go down in history. Now, Man U were about to face Crystal Palace, but this wasn't just any Crystal Palace side. This was prime Crystal Palace. Elise, who had been injury-riddled his entire career, finally ate a sensu bean and became the best winger in the Premier League. There was also Eze. Now, I'm aware that Eze is currently a jobber at Arsenal who never gets picked. But at Crystal Palace, this guy was baby Zaha. And of course, there was prime Jean-Philippe Mateta. I have never seen a black ball dude this overpowered since Luke Cage. This front three was pretty deadly. No Kid Wilson. And unfortunately, Man U had to face this Crystal Palace side off the back of what is one of their worst injury crises ever. This is more proof that Sir Alex Ferguson sacrificed Man U's future for his years of success. Maguire was injured, and I'm sure because y'all saw the title, you guys probably assumed that I would squeeze Maguire into this video, but I'll be honest with you, I've always thought that Maguire was a solid center back. I feel like if he costed like 50 million instead of 80 million, then we would probably praise him a lot more. But against Palace, the center backs that Man U had to use were a 90-year-old Johnny Evans, who at this point was starting to look like Barnacle Boy. And the reason I said center backs in quotations is because the other one was Casemiro. Yeah, the game was over before it even started. I can't lie, if I was Casemiro and I saw that ref cam of me being absolutely destroyed by Elise, I would call my old homie Perez to do me a favor and get the footage scrubbed from the internet. The match ended Crystal Palace 4, Man U 0. There hasn't been a beatdown this bad at Palace since Tai Lung pulled up to Master Shifu and whooped his ass in the J Palace. I'm aware that Johnny Evans and Casemiro was a makeshift center-back partnership, but it had to make the video, man. Anyways, guys, we are nearly at the end of this video. I want to encourage you guys to please like the video if you have enjoyed it, and comment down below which rogue footballer you're honoring your like to today. I think I'm going to honor my like to the greatest center-back of all time, Roberto Holdini. So firstly, these guys got Leicester relegated, but then Leicester got promoted back to the Premier League, and the next season, you'd think that Leicester would learn their lesson, but no, they just ended up using the same center-back partnership that got them relegated in the first place, and they got relegated again. It just simply doesn't help that Vestergaard happens to be the slowest dude in history. He makes Per Mertesacker look like I show speed. And I think my biggest issue with the dude is that he is a staggering 6'6", and he's still underwhelming in the air. Wait, what? And then there's Wout Faes. I remember people were calling this man the second coming of David Luiz. Look, the only two things these guys have in common is their hair and the fact that Faes might just be David Luiz during the lockdown era. Every time I watched this guy play, it was always underwhelming. But the biggest indication that you could not trust this guy was a match that Leicester were facing against Liverpool. Leicester were 1-0 up, but then Liverpool scored 2 goals. Or should I say, Faes scored 2 own goals. And this is not a nitpick game, because if Leicester actually won the game like they were winning before Faes' 2 goals, they wouldn't have been relegated. Everton would have went down instead. But you know what's crazy about Faes? This guy was not good enough to play for Leicester this season in the Championship, but he's recently been purchased by Monaco, who were in the Champions League. A man that can't even play in the Championship is playing in the Champions League. Who is this guy's agent? Because he's a damn legend. But yeah, these guys were only a good partnership when Enzo Maresca was their manager. After that, they pretty much always struggled. Now the question is this, did I leave out any other bad center-back partnerships? Well, if I did, then please comment down below and tell me which ones I did miss. Anyways guys, this has been your boy, The Streets Champ. If you have enjoyed this video, please subscribe, enjoy the journey. Please like the video and comment down if I left out any bad center-back partnerships or if I was being too harsh. I want to know your guys' opinions, and I want to hear more from you guys. So please, I am encouraging y'all again to join our Discord server. The link is in my description. I got a lot of links down there, including my Twitch, where we stream almost every day, and I want to be able to see you guys there. So guys, please join the streams. I want to be able to see y'all more, guys. Why? Because I am your boy, the Streets Champ, and I've just given you the gift of Toby World. Drink it in, man.